Dear religious people of Khabar Tatak, the context that I have brought before you today is linked with the yagya performed by Daksha Prajapati, which was later devastated by the warriors of Lord Shiva under the leadership of Veerbhadra. They humiliated the prominent sects and deity in chanting hymns. They severed the head of Daksha Prajapati from his soldiers and not spared even Lord Vishnu, who is supposed to be worshipped and worship Lord Shiva. Even Lord Shiva was interacted so much with the separation of goddess Sati that he started performing a divine dance Tandava, threatening to cast destruction of entire universe. Seeing this, Lord Brahma prayed Lord Vishnu to save the universe from this situation. Thereupon, Lord Vishnu, with the help of Sudarshan Chakra, fragmented the body of goddess Sati into 52 different parts to disunion it from Lord Shiva. Wherever the part of Sati fell, there appeared a Shakti Peeth and goddess Sati there, fulfilling the demands of her devotees and doing welfare for the entire world. Only after this did the frenzy of Lord Shiva subside and he led to the meditation, and the loom over the destructions of the universe was averted. Yet the question is still remaining as to what happened with the yagya, whose yagya man was Lord Vishnu himself, whom Lord Shiva too worshipped. On the context of different religious scriptures, I am telling you the story thereafter in detail. According to Shiv Puran, Narada, the mental son of Brahma, once asked him what happened to the yagya of Daksha Prajapati, which was destroyed by the warrior of Lord Shiva under the leadership of Veerbhadra, and whose yagya Purush was Lord Vishnu himself. Then, to satisfy Narada's curiosity, Lord Brahma said, all the defeated gods and sects whose limbs had been mutilated by Lord Rudra's soldier came to me in that same dire state and saluting me recounted their particular ordeal in full. Upon hearing this, I was become overcome with grief for the loss of my son Yaksha Prajapati. I became extremely distressed with the troubled mind. I meditated and remembered Lord Vishnu with devotion. Then, along with the gods and sects, I went to Vishnu Loka, and there, saluting Lord Vishnu, I expressed my sorrow to him, asking him to please me in some way so that this sacrifice may be completed, the host may survive, and all the gods and sects may be happy. Lord Vishnu then declared all those distressed gods guilty of God's sin, saying that they had not given Lord Shambhu his share in the sacrifice. Therefore, all of you with pure hearts fall at the feet of easily pleased Lord Shiva and ask for his forgiveness. Lord Shiv Shankar, whose anger destroys the entire world and under whose rule the life of the yagya along with the guardians of the world ends quickly, that Lord Mahadev is currently separated from his beloved one Sati, the evil soul Daksha has already wounded his heart with his arrow in the form of extremely harsh words. Therefore, you all should go quickly and apologize to him for your crimes. He said that for your welfare, I will also go with you to Shiva's residence and apologizes to Lord Shiva Shankar. Then, accompanied by all the gods, Lord Vishnu set out for Lord Shiva's abode at Kailas. On the way, they encountered the Nanda and Alaknanda river. These were two sacred rivers whose mere sight instantly washes away all the sins of anyone. Then they passed the Alkapuri and Sogandhik forest of Yaksha, King Kuvera. A short distance away, they saw Lord Shiva sitting in meditation under banyan tree. He was seated in a beautiful Tarka Mudra, his left foot resting on his right leg and his left hand on his left knee, wearing a Rudraksha beard on his wrist. Upon seeing Lord Shiva in this form, Vishnu and all the other gods immediately bowed their heads and bowed to him. Seeing Lord Vishnu arriving, Lord Shiva, who had found refuge for the virtuous people, stood up, bowed his head, and bowing his head, bowed to him, inquired about his purpose of visit. Then, as per the instructions of Lord Vishnu, the god humbly praised Lord Shiva Shankar and said that you are the supreme god, the supreme and the super supreme. Salutations to you, the omnipresent form of the universe, Maheshwar. You are the original cause of everything, the compassionate God. Due to your fear, the wind blows. Due to your fear, the fire burns. Due to your fear, the sun is hot, and due to your fear itself, death runs everywhere. O ocean of mercy, Mahesh, please be pleased with us. We are getting destroyed and unconscious. Therefore, please protect us as you have been protecting us in the past. Lord Shiva was pleased with the god's prayer, and after assuring them, smiled and bestowed his greatest grace upon them, saying, most Brahma and Vishnu, listen carefully to me. I am telling you the truth. I did not destroy Daksha's sacrifice. Daksha himself hatred for others. Whatever you do to others will only bring consequences for you. Therefore, do not do anything that will cause pain to others. Daksha's head has been burned, so a god's head should be replaced. Bhagavad Gita should view his yajna portion through the eyes of Mitradev. Usha, the deity whose teeth are broken, should receive her share of the yajna, thoroughly grounded by the devotee's teeth. Bhrigu, who opposed me, should have a god beard replaced with his head. May all the gods who have given me sacrificial offerings as a part of the sacrifice be restored to their former state. May those whose arms were broken in the sacrifice be supported by the arms of Ashwani Kumar, and those whose hands were destroyed by supported by the hands of Pusa. I am saying this out of love for you all. Brahmadev says, O Narada, with this, the merciful Lord Mahadev, the king of gods and the ruler of all the worlds who followed the Vedas, fell silent. Hearing this speech from Lord Shivasankar, all the gods, including Lord Vishnu and Brahma, were pleased and immediately began to praise him. Subsequently, Lord Vishnu, accompanied by Brahma and the divine Sikh, joyfully returned to Daksha's sacrificial altar. Thus, at their request, Lord Shambhu, accompanied by Vishnu and other deities, arrived at Prajapati Daksha's sacrificial altar in Kankhal. At that time, Rudradev himself witnessed the yajna and especially the destructions of the Sikhs and gods by Veerbhadra. All the Sikhs and sacrificial performers, including Swaha, Swadha, Pusa, Dhriti, and others, Yaksha, Gandharva, and demons lay there. Some had their limbs torn out, others had their hair torn out, and many had lost their lives in that battlefield. Seeing the plight of the yajna as a sacrifice, Lord Shiva summoned his powerful leader Virabhadra and laughingly said, O mighty Virabhadra, what did you have accomplished in a short time? You have dealt a heavy punishment to the gods, yaks, and others who had committed such a treacherous act. Daksha, the organizer of the extraordinary yajna, suffered Daksha's torso and placed at it before him. Seeing Daksha, a torso without a head, Lord Shiva standing nearby, smilingly asked Virabhadra, who was standing nearby, where is Daksha's head? Virabhadra replied, I had already offered Daksha's head to the fire at that time. Hearing Virabhadra's voice, Lord Shiva happily gave the gods the same command as they had given them earlier. Subsequently, by the order of Lord Shiva, the head of the sacrificial animal, a goat, was attached to the torso of Prajapati Daksha. As soon as the goat's head was joined, Daksha Prajapati's body came back to life due to the bright glance of Lord Shiva, and he immediately stood up like a man who had just woken up from sleep. As soon as he got up, he saw Lord Shiva in front of him with compassion. On seeing him, love flowed in Daksha's heart, and he prayed and worshipped Mahadev. Then, remembering his daughter, he became distraught. He told Lord Shiva Shankar that I have betrayed you, but still you are kind to us. Thereafter, on the order of Lord Shiva Shankar, Daksha completed his incomplete yajna sacrifice, gave Shiva his full share too.